Welcome back to another episode of All Things Business. That's what I'm calling it today.
Yeah.
We're always playing with the names because who cares about names? Names are important, but we more care about how you gather content that is useful for you. So I did get some good word that there have been people that have been tuning in. And so we thank you for watching. We thank you for utilizing the information. We hope that it's useful and that it's shareable. You want to get it out to others. This is the type of this is the reason why we do what we do. So I'm Andre. I am here on another exciting episode Friday for us. I don't know if you're watching live. Yeah, hopefully it's not cold where you're at. Maybe you're somewhere sunny, or maybe you're just in a warm office.
Yes.
What about you? Who are you?
Hello, I'm Michelle Rea, and I help with our marketing and logistics.
Perfect. How you feeling?
I'm feeling okay. This weather definitely got me, but it's going to be okay. Because
we're going to make it.
The spring and the summer is around the corner.
Yes.
And that is our favorite time of the year in Seattle.
Yes.
Even fall passes. But once we hit that winter, oh my gosh.
It's gladiator school out here in the Pacific Northwest. You can make it through here. You can make it anywhere. So today we're talking about, have you wondered are you a person that's trying to figure out what can make a lasting business versus a business that is here today, gone tomorrow? What makes some businesses have staying power and then others fade away? What makes some people want to continue to go to where we have a connection to that business? It's almost on autopilot. I remember there were certain products in our house and in our family that we just buy because our grandparents bought it or our mom bought it, or you might have been at your uncle and your aunt's house and you're like, why do I even use this brand? You use the brand because there was a sense of loyalty that came from just doing it over and over again. So somebody built that business in a manner to which it can go from generation to generation to where we don't even think, it's not even an impulse buy, it is just a regular buy. It is part of us. I thought about, for me, I can think in terms of ketchup, or specific condiments, right? And it's like, oh man, you get a specific brand because you might have just grew up with it on your taste buds.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't feel right. Your food's missing something if it doesn't have it, but you haven't done the due diligence as an adult on your own to say, what else is out there? Is this the best one? Is this the tastiest one, the healthiest one? Is this the one that is going to really make my food pop? That one, or laundry detergent, or cleaning products. Or
yes, like Pine-Sol.
Oh yes.
Jeez.
It just.
I felt like
you don't feel like things are clean unless they smell a certain way. You don't feel that your laundry's done unless it's done with a certain product, and these are the nostalgic things. But now, when you have a business, those businesses don't accidentally become that way. So we have a great article where we're going to uncover, and we're also going to give some scriptural insights to these principles of how do you build a business that will last long, right? Not going to fade. What are your thoughts about that, Michelle?
So last night we had our first session of our 2024 Sharks at the Beach, which is so exciting. I think once we hit the end of February and go all the way to May, we are a busy department. We have 2 programs going. We have big events to look forward to in May. We have 3 events in May. It's exciting.
It is very exciting.
It really is exciting. And it is quite an uphill till we get there.
Yes.
But then we get there and it's like, oh man, this is exactly who is supposed to be in the room.
Yes.
And that's really, the encouragement from last night's session, that people just showed up and were ready.
Ready. Talk a little bit about that. We don't even have to give them all the game that was given because you just need to be there. But let's just talk about some of the actions that people took immediately being in the room. And how do you know we have the right people in the room? Because this is an app-based program. This is our plug, our shameless plug. But what about the group in particular last night did you notice about kind of characteristics of how they acted. These are business people who are, some of them already have a business and some of them are very early. It's all early stage, it's incubator. So
Yes.
this idea of what does it take to build a business that's going to be lasting. What did you see last night that was encouraging?
I saw a couple things. One of the things, networking. They were just all ready from the jump. Like, I'm saying the Zoom maybe has been open for 25 minutes and it's a 2.5-hour session. And they're already talking about creating a book club off of this intro video we shared.
Yes.
And not only that, people went as far as buying the book
immediately
and buying the workbook that came with the book
immediately,
getting the audio book, and then people sharing phone numbers and times and days that they can meet in the chat for the book club
out the gate.
So we haven't even gotten to the actual content of session 1, and people are already talking about, okay, how are we going to take ourselves to the next level? We got 12 weeks. Let's do it together. And I think that is a huge thing. I mean, entrepreneurship, there's room for everyone to be an entrepreneur if that's what you want to do. You know, it's not competitive.
The preliminary signs that we saw of people ready to get at it, and that initiative, taking initiative, that being proactive, that to me speaks volumes, because how you start something is very important. It's more important how you finish it, but how you start, that laying that foundation is huge. So to show up early, on time, to show up ready to work, to show up active, to show up and be engaged, to show up and then immediately also take another step and say, hey, all right, let's take this, let's form a group, let's go. Hey, here's my number, people text me your number, let's go, let's build this, I already ordered it, and we didn't say order it. This is the beautiful thing. So I love seeing that, and we want people to be a part of a community that is going after it. This is the time for you to check your associations. This actually is a great pivot to the article. Can you say the name of the article? Because the first thing they talk about is kind of associations.
Yes. So the article we're discussing today is from Forbes. It's 7 tips to build a successful and long-lasting business.
All right.
And this is another reason why I love Sharks at the Beach, because it gives you a chance to break down some of those misconceptions you have.
Yes.
And last night, I think we saw a lot of those come out. So many people, when we asked, okay, what were some takeaways from the video we just listened to? And a lot of people were like, wow, that is not the way I think about things.
They were challenged in their paradigm.
And okay, we'll just tell them the book. Should we just tell them?
No, they don't get that.
We don't get to tell them. Okay, we don't get to tell you guys the book.
Nah, you got to be in the group. Let's go. There's rewards for being diligent.
Yeah, so the point is just like, they were just like, wow, okay, just listening to this interview already broke down some misconceptions. If I really read this book, I need to read this book at this point to break down these misconceptions, because, and
people agreed, people disagreed. I loved it. They were saying, I don't know if I agree with that. And that's what we want. We want the engaging and critical thinking. I think it was Henry Ford said that thinking is one of the most hardest activities to engage in, and that's why so few do it. I'm paraphrasing. This idea that he's saying that thinking is really hard work, so that's why few people engage in critical thinking. They don't think. They just want people to tell them what to do. And we can't be reactive if we want to have a business that will have impact, that will build wealth, that will build a system, that will build for generations, that will create the opportunities and the value in which you're seeking to create for yourself.
That's right. Yeah.
Point number 1 in the article. What's the first thing you're highlighting?
Point number 1 is hire the right people.
Hire the right people. How important is hiring?
And you know what? Hiring the right people starts with yourself.
Yes.
I mean, who are you?
Yes.
Who is running the company?
Do some inventory.
You have to be, I was just talking to these kids the other day about, because, when you're a child, $1 seems a lot. 10 seems a lot. 100 seems a lot.
Yes.
As you become an adult, 100 just doesn't seem as much.
No. It seemed like it was just untouchable at that when you were small.
But, I just looked at them and I said, guys, one of the best things you can do is, you don't want to be the one getting paid.
No.
You want to be the one paying people.
Yes.
Like, you want to run a company where you are being the one handing out the checks.
Yeah.
Okay? Because then you're giving people a piece of what you're making. And I was telling them about the movie on Nike, the huge principle of, and I've heard this from other multimillionaires who are business owners that say, hire people that are smarter than you.
Yes.
Surround yourself with people who are smarter than you.
So starting in your own life, what you're just pointing out is the leader, as the person who is the leader, the founder of the company, the creator, the ideator, the visionary. First have you taken an inventory of what you bring to the table? Do you have the right skills? And if not, what are the skills you need to acquire and refine? Then who are the people that you need to have around you that will help bring that to the next level? This is a key hire. I love the fact that it says a good hire will either make or break you, and this is real. There's a verse in Scripture that says, 1 Corinthians 15:33 says, do not be deceived. Bad company corrupts good morals or ruins good morals. Wow. What's the other verse for that, for key hires and associations?
Proverbs 13:20. Whoever walks with the wise becomes wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm.
Wow. So if you have people who are given to short tempers, you have people who are always triangulating, it's just a fancy word for gossiping, backbiting. If you have people around you that always come to you and they talk to you about their issue with another person and you put them on your team, that person becomes a virus. They become a sickness that is in the company, affecting the company, and they're tearing down everything that you're building because they don't have the insight and they don't have the vision that you have to keep cohesiveness and unity. So when you look at that, it's like bad company ruins good morals. People say, oh, those are just my friends. My friends do that, but I don't do that. Well, I couldn't tell the difference if you're associating with them, right? If you, the great late Jim Rohn said that you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And what do you think about that?
I think that was crazy.
Yeah.
Andre said that to me last week. And I sat there and I thought to myself, who do I hang out with? Who are the top 5 people I hang out with? Realistically, it's my family. And I thought to myself, I love my family.
To life.
But I've been with them my whole life.
Yes.
That is all I know.
Yes.
And it just even gave me a reality check of like, you gotta go hang out with some new people. Hang out with some new people because there are things I gotta learn that other people know that my family doesn't know because we all grew up with the same mindset, same system, I gotta get out of it. I mean, God made a lot of us humans on this earth, and you got to know who to hang out with because there's people who will bring you down, like the scripture says, or there's people who will uplift you. So really take a look at who are the closest 5 people in your life that you spend time with. If you need to make an adjustment, make that adjustment.
I love that contrast of the other verse, which whoever walks with the wise becomes wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm. Are the people around exhibiting foolishness or wiseness? Wisdom is knowing the right thing to do and actually doing it, applying it. Wisdom is that ability to see the difference of decisions, the difference of ideas and the consequences they make, to recognize those fine distinctions and differences. That's wisdom. And to make the adjustment. Wisdom is you don't have to, they say experience can be one of the slowest teachers. I don't need to do fentanyl to figure out that it's bad. I don't need to do crime to figure out that it's bad. I can look at the consequences that have happened in other people's lives and I can assess and say, so when you talk about the team that you have, who's on your team? Who are you keeping? Are they wise or are they foolish? Are you exhibiting wisdom as a leader first? And then are those that you're hiring, is it a wise decision and are they bringing cohesion and are they bringing growth and multiplication? Are they bringing division and subtraction? Addition and multiplication is what we want. We don't want division and subtraction. That's the only math we want in our life.
It's simple.
This other part of the article says, find a loyal adversary. I love it. A loyal adversary. That verse that came to mind is Proverbs 27 verse 6, which says, faithful are the wounds of a friend who corrects out of love and concern. That's the Amplified. And then the other part of the verse says, but kisses of an enemy are deceitful. Right? Why, Michelle? Because they what?
They serve his hidden agenda.
Wow. So unpack that verse and how that works in regards to having a loyal adversary. So meaning someone who will tell you the truth about yourself. They're not just a yes person, but they can tell you your breath doesn't smell good. They can tell you, hey, you got something on your clothes. Hey, you got to fix that. Examine your zipper. Like all this regular stuff that real people should tell you, whereas somebody who doesn't care about you, they'll just let you go all day and not call you out to help you out. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think, there's people who want to see you lose.
Yes.
That's just what they're fixated on.
So
Get away from those people.
So if someone's just telling you only good things about yourself, do you trust them or not? If every time you're around you, they're
No.
Yeah.
I think some of my closest and people that I hold closest to me are the people who will check me.
It's good.
My older sister, love her. And I really do. I tell her all the time, I'm like, I'm so thankful I have someone so brutally honest as you in my life. She will tell, she could only say the things she would say to me. And I know that it comes from a loving place.
It's good.
It doesn't come from a place that she wants to harm me. She wants me to just be aware of some of the things that I do or say.
It's good. How important is that for somebody to have a loyal adversary, as it's called in this article, that someone who can not just be a yes person, but they can tell you about the areas that you need to improve or the blind spots? How important is that for a company?
Man, it's everything, honestly. Especially when I hear so many entrepreneurs who join our programs, they're so in their head. So to have a loyal person that you can say, man, here are the things I'm wrestling with my business that are in here. When you take them out of here and talk them over with someone that you trust their judgment, man, you're going to go so much further. I mean, you see that in Scripture all the time. When people are really facing something and they go to someone that they confide in and they talk to them, the clarity that comes out of it just catapults them into it in a different level.
That's good. The next part of the article, or the other verse, says the other part of the article talks about changing the way you think, and how important this is if you want a lasting business. So first off, I want to tie into this verse before we jump into this verse and this part of the article. I sent Michelle another article. She said she was doing research about some of the oldest companies in the world. And she said, what nation or what place do you think it came out of? Tell them, Michelle. What nation?
Japan.
The Japanese.
The top 10 businesses in the world that have been around the longest.
Multi-generational.
All come from Japan.
Kangi Gumi, a contractor widely believed to be Japan's oldest ongoing company, was created in the 6th century to build a Buddhist temple in what is now Osaka. It was founded in 578 to build the temple, a massive national project led by Prince Shotoku, a political leader. Kangi Gumi is recognized as the oldest company in Japan. So 1,400 years ago, there was a business formed, and it's standing to this day.
1,400 years, y'all.
1,400 years.
And here's the other thing that I realized about them. When we talked about this in our Sharks at the Beach program last night, the companies that are trying to just be over the top and innovative, that takes a lot of time, money, and effort. If you've got it, fine. Like I heard on NPR the other day that Apple has been working on making a car for years, an electric self-driving car. They had to scrap it. They've poured billions of money in there. Fine. Apple has been around for a long time. They have they have a research and development fund. They have the funds. Yeah. They can do that. But until you get to that point,
no, they weren't going to destroy it all by just pivoting to doing that. If they would have just started putting out electric cars,
money that they put aside
bingo,
to see if they could enter in that industry. But yet they're making so much money in the things they're already really good at.
That's good.
They're so good at making headphones. Their headphones alone make billions of dollars. the point that I'm making is that something we brought up is like, no, business doesn't have to be boring, but you don't have to change everything every other minute.
Yes.
You know, stick with what is good.
What works well, yes.
I also saw this video on this man who became a millionaire and has $1 million business. He's a plumber.
Yes.
He was a plumber. He has now this plumbing company, all these vans he was showing. He's just saying, like, people think, like, you have to come up with something crazy. We just go into people's basements.
That's good.
And we fix their basements and their plumbing. Like, and bam, you know, it can be very simple, straightforward, and you just get really good at the problem that you're solving.
It's good. Proverbs 13, and this wasn't even the verse that we're going to in regards to thinking differently. The first verse is Romans 12:2 says, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. Now, there's another verse in Proverbs 13:22 that says, a good man leaves an inheritance for their children's children. And it's funny because I thought Solomon, who's writing that, was stuttering when I first read that. I was like, why did he write children's children? Like, no, your children. Then I was like, oh my gosh, he's talking about grandchildren. So he's speaking to at least 3 generations. He's saying a good person in God's eyes is someone who lives, acts, plans, and builds multi-generationally. They build from generation to generation. And even when God introduces himself to Moses, he says, I'm the God of your forefathers. And he says, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So once again, 3 generations. That a minimal of 3 generations is the thought and the foresight. So for you to get to 1,400 years, this is a level of insight that is profound. How are you building for the long term versus just for the way that it is today?
It's almost like longevity has to be part of your business model canvas at the very beginning.
That's good.
Like,
business model canvas, shout out.
You just have to think of that when you're, and there were some great questions last night in the session. It was, you know, what is one of the things that you fill out in the business model canvas that kind of gives you, if you can't fill it out all the way, you know, how do you, then you know that that's not a great business.
That's good.
You know, and it's different for every business, right? That's why you need someone to, what did the article say? That you need a
loyal adversary.
A loyal adversary. You need someone to sit there and be like,
check you.
Yeah, sorry, that business is not it. We go back to the drawing board. So
we found out one thing that was great that we found out as well was, and this is as well to building a long-lasting business, is that it has to be centered on the customer. It has to actually solve a problem and add value to the life of the customer. That's what they're not fixated on our solution. They're fixated on their problem. Their problem is what's prominent in their mind. So the company that saw, and so this 1,400-year company that started out with temples and then moved on to make hotels, they stayed in one lane, which was shelter, which was real estate. They stayed in real estate and stayed. And connections to real estate that are emotional and psychological. And so they did one thing really well, pivot, you know, keep going. So what about you with your business? Also, it says, change the way you think about money. Change your thinking first. Now change the way you think about money, right? And this is about wise. Actually, Luke 15:13 says this. And not many days, we talked about Luke before, by the way. This is about the prodigal son. And not many days later, the younger son gathered everything together and went on a journey to a distant country. Now this son, back context for 5 seconds, was that he demanded his inheritance from his dad early. Before his dad died, he was like, just give me my money now, I'm out. And his dad gave him the inheritance that he would have gave him later, and he went out, he thought he was ready. And not many days later, which means immediately, the younger son gathered everything together and went on a journey to a distant country. And there he squandered his estate in wild living, in a wild, riotous way. So he immediately went to foolishness, right? So Proverbs 22 verse 7 says, the rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is the slave of the lender. So it's powerful because with every decision, every dollar that you are earning for your business, you have two decisions with how you take that, what you do with that dollar. You actually have three decisions, but you can, in regards to how you care it. And I said these are two main categories. You can spend it wisely or you can spend it foolishly. If you spend it wisely, then you're investing and you're creating assets and you're building out for the future. An asset is whatever feeds you or pays you. If you are spending it foolishly, you're spending it for liabilities, for things that are eating you and taking away from you, but they look good for everybody else. So people will compliment, oh man, you've got the new blah, blah, blah. Oh, your blah, blah, blah is fire. Ooh, to be known for the blah, blah, blah that you can share online with everyone, and you can, I don't know, maybe you consider yourself an influencer. Maybe that's part of your business model. But if it's an asset, the marker of it will be that it's adding and multiplying to your income, to your bottom line, to your profit, right? So, and then the foolish spending is not so. Proverbs 13:11. Can you read that verse, Michelle?
Yes. Wealth obtained by fraud dwindles, but the one who gathers by labor increases it. There's two categories of spending: wise spending and foolish spending.
That's good. So that idea of if we obtain wealth by foolish or by fraudulent measures, it's out of there. It's going to dwindle. It will evaporate. At some point, it will be found out and the rug is pulled under it because it was built the wrong way. Empty pursuits, vain pursuits, vanity. That's another version that says it's by vain means, that it was really obtained in a vain manner, which was selfish, not considerate of others, violating the Creator's instructions on how we do things business-wise. It will dwindle. But the one who's gathering by that honest labor is increasing it, right? The next part of the article talks about be willing to put in the work whenever necessary. Proverbs 28 verse 19 says, the one who works his land will have plenty of food, but whoever chases fantasies will have his fill of poverty. What are your thoughts on that?
I just want to highlight someone in the chat.
Someone's in the chat.
Shout out to one of our newest.
Shout out to the chatters.
One of our newest entrepreneurs.
Viewers. Let's go. And
Capri, welcome. She'll be in Sharks at the Beach, so in May you'll be able to see that pitch, everyone. So stay tuned.
Yes.
But they said can't put money first. Need to put God first. Then blessings will flow.
That's good.
Yep. We talked about using your gifts.
Yes.
And man, that's huge.
This is the time where we can build wisely or build foolishly. And this is why we create this content for you on the weekly, is that we want you to take a lunch break. We want you to have a working lunch, and we want you to feel infused with encouragement and excitement that you can take your business, you can build a solid foundation for it, and you can scale it out. You can pivot now and make the right associations that help you get in that right mindset for you to build. We want you to have dominance in the marketplace. We want you to add legitimate value. We want to see your families prosper, and we want to see your health prosper, and we want to see your relationship with the Creator prosper. We want to see things go for you well. Any announcements as we're wrapping up to land the plane? This was a good amount of article that we covered. Go read the rest for yourself. Who's the article by? Say the title of the article again so that they have the title of the article.
Yes, and I'll make sure to put it in the
notes.
In the notes of
the show notes.
But it is by Forbes, 7 tips to build a successful and long-lasting business.
Let's go. Shout out to how do you say your name? Ashira Prosac.
And I just wanted to highlight some things that were shared last night.
Yes, please do.
In our Sharks at the Beach by Jalil Vester. Shout out. He's not here today. He's elsewhere doing great things
Mr.
for the
Jalil.
department.
Yes.
He says boring equals predictable results. Predictable results equals reliable. Reliable equals trusted. Trusted equals profitable.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's true. Everybody I buy something from, I trust them.
Yep.
Okay, my car.
The laundromat, shout out to laundromats when I grew up and we didn't have a washing machine or dryer at home. And the ones that had the machines that were not always broken, that's where we went.
Yes.
Period.
Okay, reliable.
Boring.
Creative.
Right.
Boring, reliable, profitable.
Yes.
Hey, you got it all.
Yes.
And then something our wonderful coach, Chris Mathis, shared.
Mr. Chris.
You have to be smart enough to listen, humble enough to receive, and mature enough to share with others if you really want to win.
Ooh. I feel like I'm growing just from hearing that. Challenged to grow, stretched.
Yes, so that is some of the things you can catch in our program. So if you know somebody who wants to get into business,
Yes.
somebody who has a business and can be in our accelerated business
Yes.
classes that are in the fall. These ones are in the late winter, springtime.
And we have other offerings as well.
Yes,
just
we
get on
do.
the wait list. We want you to sign
Yeah.
up. Join our. This is why we want you to do everything, all the YouTube-y stuff. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment so that the algorithm catches on. Share it out with people if
That's
you really
right.
care. If this added any value for you, we want you to tell everybody about it that you know. If you hated this and it was useless, let's keep it our secret. That'll be our deal, right?
Hey, given from the chat, this was, we got some amen, some hallelujahs.
All right, let's
fire.
do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
And shout out to Sarwa, our winner from last year, for joining us live today and
Royalty.
being active in the chat. We thank you for joining us.
check,
We miss
big
you. We
respect.
know you're doing good things.
Yes, we know you're doing great things because we expect great things, nothing but great things from you because
That's right.
that's what you always bring into the room. We love it. So thank you guys for tuning in. We will be back, same bat time, same bat channel. I believe so. If not, we'll have something for you at this time. Don't worry, something will be up because we've got some time. We're going to do some things as a team, but I wanted to encourage you that this is the right place. Share it out. We want people to know about it. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We will see you in the internets. Shalom, shalom. Bless you.
Take care, everyone.